That's right. We're back. It's Monday. It's cold. It's 8 o'clock. It's yours truly here, Steve Whitmer, the current face, the current voice of Indy Reporter. Listen, everybody, real quick. If you guys are watching this right now, you guys are probably don't see a chat. For some reason, I set it for children, and when you have that setting on there, it doesn't allow any chat. So if you want to chat, you have to exit out of it, then come back, and then the chat will be there. There we go. Hold on. Yes. Oh, you can't hear me. Hold on. No, I'm there. Nope. It works. It's working on my end. That's whatever it is. It's on your end. Polly in the chat. There is sound. I have it right next to me. Yeah, my volume is definitely working. All right, but the chat's working, so that's okay. It's cold out. Ducky in the chat. Ducky, can you hear me? That's all. As long as Ducky can hear me, that's all that matters. All right. Hurt my back shoveling the snow yesterday, so I'm a little bit uncomfortable on this chair right now. All right, so the House did not meet. They didn't have any committee meetings, and they did not have a floor session today. Senate, they did not have. All right, special power in the chat too. It worked for you. Perfect. Senate did meet, but only on the floor. They did not have any committee meetings, which is a little frustrating because I was looking forward to a couple of bills being heard, especially SR5. All right, so let's just talk. So all they had was about was stuff on the floor. So that's all I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to be having a show every single day this week. So it is officially Rock Week. That's why I had the Deftones play for the intro song. Every single day, going to be a different song. So if you want a rock song heard for the intro music, just put it in the comments section and I'll play it this week. Nothing crazy, of course. If as little swearing as possible. All right, so let's go first. There wasn't a whole lot going on. A couple of drama things that happened, but I want to talk about Snowpacalypse as well, and a couple of drama things that might have happened. All right, so Statehouse Authority was not heard. It's on second reading right now. This is what I'm calling the Bears Bill, of having to snatch up property. I'm thinking Hammond, to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to be in Gary. I think it's going to be in Hammond, mostly because of the South Shore line. If you were around on Saturday's show, I went and looked up on the map. And it's actually perfect because a lot of people live in Northwest Indiana, but they travel through the train to go to Chicago where they may or may not work. I took it. Let's see, back in 2000, either 99. So yeah, almost a quarter of a century ago, I took the train to Chicago. Still there, and they extended it down to Dyer. So anybody that wants to take the train, it'll be much easier for them. Most people do not understand how important it is that you're breaking this down on. Yeah, I think so. You know, I mean, I try to break it down in normie terms. That's why you guys are here. I watch it. I break it down for myself so I can transfer that knowledge to you guys. So when it gets brought up, you guys are well informed. I love to have a well informed audience. I mean, think about all the nuclear stuff that we talk about too. All right, so that was not heard for second reading. They have like only a couple of days. I think the last day for second is on Wednesday or Thursday. And then actually, hold on. The 29th is the final day. What day is that? So Thursday. Yeah. So I think the final deadline for second reading is on Wednesday. And then Thursday is the deadline for third reading. After that, sayonara. I mean, they might plug some stuff into other bills like they normally like to. It's like, remember how I brought up last week the World War I, spouse of World War I, of not getting property tax deductions? And they even said during Ways and Means, like, we'll put it in another bill. That's exactly what they did. So don't be surprised if you see some of these other things in other bills. That's just how it'll work. E-Verify was not heard either. Also, but I heard that one of the amendments was killed, basically killed this bill. Moving on, the syringe exchange program. If you guys don't know about this, this is giving free syringes to all the bums and crackheads and heroin addicts. Now, the syringes are not paid by tax dollars. However, the program is paid for by taxpayers, okay? I guess some of the syringes are paid through by foundations and other things. Now, what I really liked was I think it was originally Freeman, but maybe Kreider, Mike, Michael Kreider. I don't know. He had an amendment for, where is it? Not this one. Yes, this one. The legislative. This is it. Hold on. I want to make sure this is it. Yes, Senator Kreider. So basically, it would be a 1-for-1. The municipal or the county area, they would have to come up with a program that operates within a jurisdiction of blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it provides one sterile syringe and needle exchange for each used sterile syringe and needle. So basically, think of it as little mini libraries. Take a book, leave a book. Take a needle, give a needle. And I think that's actually not a bad program. If that's how we're gonna do things, Drew in the house, let's go, Wart. I think that's how it should be. To be honest with you, I don't like the needle program whatsoever. However, to make sure that there aren't needles all over the place and you're just getting new ones and throwing the old ones on the ground, there has to be an exchange program. Let's see. I think there was an accepted exchange from an individual, regardless of the individual's participation in a program. So if you want to give a random syringe, I mean, will this not help with littering as well? Like if you find like some dirty, used up syringe and you want to get a new one, hey, there you go. It'll be like all those bums collecting cans so they can get their 10 cents, so they can buy their pack of Marlboros or whatever. Maybe a grape flavored cigar. Who could say? All right, moving on to the self-storage. Nope. The grooming bill. Now, I'm not even going to go into the details about this because there's some talks about it. It's such a wild bill, to be honest with you. Hold on, where is it? Let me pull it up. Let's just make a new one. Okay, so the facility or event that provides entertainment or programming primarily directed toward a child less than 18 years of age, or facility or location holding an event that provides entertainment programming means a facility, blah, 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 blah. Now, Freeman did kind of bring this up during committee. And he was comparing it to Chuck E. Cheese. He's like, personally, like Chuck E. Cheese is a place for children. However, you can buy alcohol at Chuck E. Cheese. By the way, I looked that up. You can buy alcohol at Chuck E. Cheese. What a terrible, terrible idea. So that the amended and gross, so it'll go to thirds, which will be possibly tomorrow, I think. I have to check the schedule before we leave out of here. Administrative. Okay, various property tax matters. Wait a minute, this isn't the. Make sure. Wait a minute, are they really doing it? Okay, they haven't heard it yet. Hunley has a bill to make all of the menstrual discharge collection devices the sales tax. That looks like that will be the amendment if that gets brought up. Gender issues. The gender issue one is fascinating because it'll define a male female gender assessed for all Indiana statutes. So that way that no women are going to men's prisons and vice versa. Now, if you guys remember, I talked about Corinna Cohn. They gave testimony on it and then also mocked J.D. Ford at the same time. Very fun stuff. It was amended in order to engrossment. I'm sure there will be some more talks about it tomorrow or whenever. Now, during some of the talks, they were bringing it up of like family restrooms. They were giving like this whole like crazy scenario on what would happen if like you're at a sports event. Like I was over the weekend, and then you're the visiting team. How would that work if you're going into like a different gender bathroom? It's like, can we just stop pretending that all this like ludicrousy? Boys will go into the boys' bathroom. Girls will go into the girls' bathroom. If there needs to be some kind of diaper change, figure it out. There are gender-neutral bathrooms for that specific reason. And then moving on into the various education. I'm not even going to pretend that I know what is happening in these education bills. A lot of the times they're just loaded up with cray-cray. Not cray-cray bad, but like here. Look at this massive bill. That is a lot of stuff whenever you see Blank blank matters. Various education matters. Public school matters. Like this one. Okay, this one's a bad example. Whatever. It's fine. I wasn't even wanting to talk about that anyway. Okay, so the abortion-inducing drugs and abortion reports. You need alcohol at Chucky. I mean, I don't think so, but to each their own, apparently. I just don't want a bunch of rowdy parents trying to play skee ball, and then they start getting a fight with the guy that's in the Chuck E. Cheese outfit. I don't think that's good. That's not courteous behavior. That's not civilized behavior. And then, like, he takes off the Chuck E. Cheese hat and puts it on himself. And then he's, like, pretending that he's drunk Chuck E. Cheese guy. And it's freaking all the children out because they you know, their Santa Claus, they find out is an actual human being. I'd say. Anyway, abortion-inducing drugs and abortion reports. A lot of amendments. They all failed from Rodney Pohl, Andrea Hunley, and Shelley Yoder. And basically what this would do is, like, if you're trying to buy an abortion drug over... Let's see, from another state, but it's for you. This gives the power of the attorney general or another person to sue the person who's selling the drugs. There's alcohol at all. Yeah, I know. What a terrible idea. Good. I mean, we don't have to have alcohol. If you have kids, you probably need alcohol. Yeah. Sometimes. Let me just look this up real quick. So there was also like $100,000 that you can get if you win, but also like they could do lawfare. So if you, one of the interesting example was during committee, like there was this woman in a healthcare profession, and she said that her coworker had bought abortion drugs from another state for herself, which is not allowed. It's illegal. Like she admitted, and then as soon as she heard from Liz Brown, it's like, you know, that's illegal. It's like, oh, well, you know, it was a long time ago. I don't exactly know what was going on. You know, she just kind of mentioned it. She just started talking real fast, like she knew that she goofed up. We'll see what happens. I'm sure there'll be more talk on thirds tomorrow. It'll pass. So I'm not too worried about that. The various property tax. Oh, not that one. Okay, where is it? Alcohol in the pack matters. Non-participating garnishment. Various education matters. No. I really want to talk about the Mike Young one. Oh, the Midwest Continental Divide Commission. Anybody of you guys that are paying attention to the Mid-States Corridor controversy right now, this has something to do with it. Let me pull up my notes real quick. So the Midwest Continental Divide Commission, which is the body tied to planning and oversight for trail and corridor projects associated with the Mid-States Corridor and related trail infrastructure. Now, this bill isn't about building the Mid-States Corridor itself. It's about what happens around the corridor trail projects, and make sure that if a city or county wants to change zoning within a half mile of an approved corridor or trail, those changes don't undercut the land use plan the Midwest Continental Divide Commission already signed off on. It doesn't build the Mid-States Corridor. It just keeps local zoning near approved corridor trails from going rogue after the fact. I'm sure this has something to do with the Mid-States Corridor, so they can make sure they push through this. If you guys don't know about this whole controversy right now, basically they're trying to like expand or like make this, I don't know if it's a new one or expand it, but it was Mark Messmer and Mike Braun when he was with the Statehouse. And if you look at the map, it almost exactly lines up with his business from, what the crap is it called? I'm like Meyer Distributing. That's right. Have I ever been to Chuck E. Cheese? Yeah. Chuck E. Cheese is baller. What are we talking about? Crappy pizza, but tripping balls. That's all I can say. All right, so the various tax matters. This was actually really fun to watch. I'm going to clip this. Okay, I'm going to talk about this again tomorrow because there is almost something really sneaky that happened while I was watching it live. So Mike Young had a couple of amendments. One of them was that you were to have a tax deduction on your health care premium. Where is it? Was it this one? And you were able, for person subsidized utility means, I think he was trying to help with the utilities as well. That's not even what I want. Okay, available. Okay, yeah. So it's using a selection health insurance plan. Individual, blah, 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 each taxable year. Okay. Each taxable year, a taxpayer who is covered by a health insurance plan may deduct from the taxpayer's adjusted gross income as an amount equal So basically, if you had a healthcare premium, you were able to deduct it from your taxes. Do you know how much of a big deal that would be? Especially for people that are basically broke because they have to afford health insurance. Like, this is like for people. Let me give you a perfect example. There are so many people that I have met in my life that overspend on their home to the point where their house broke. Like, they're struggling just to pay their mortgage, and it can apply to property taxes as well. But when you have to pay for health insurance and you're just by yourself and you're paying like $200 or $300 a month just for health insurance, and now you're able to deduct it from your taxes, that is a massive deal. And he was saying that it would basically cost the state like $87 million. And his argument was like, dude, we have like $47 billion. I'm sure we can find $87 million somewhere. That would be such a massive W. Would have failed on a voice vote because Mike Young thought that he did it. He had called down Amendment 6, I think it was, or 4. And he thought that he had a roll call vote, which means you could see everybody that voted for it. When you do a voice vote, all you're saying is yay or nay really loudly. On a roll call vote, you can actually see who voted yes and who voted no for. I always say I want more roll call votes. It's an extra 2 minutes. However, it's very important for marketing. Because look how based Mike Young would look like if he said, I had an amendment for tax deductions on health insurance, and these people voted no for it. Can you imagine how bad that would make Republicans look if they saw exactly who it was, especially with the primaries coming up? Oh boy, that would be crazy. Anyway, on one of the roll call votes, yeah, it was this one on Amendment 4. It almost happened. It almost happened because Carrasco had voted no. Eric Koch had voted yes. Then all of a sudden, Carrasco flipped to yes. So it would get past that like constitutional change where I think the then Beckwith would have had to vote yes or no to basically be a tiebreaker. And then all of a sudden, Koch flips red. He's like, "Oh my God, we might actually get this amendment to pass." Very funny stuff. I'll have to go back. I did record it live. I just haven't gone back and clipped it yet. Okay, the regulation of hemp that moved into engrossment. I'm sure there's going to be talk about it on thirds whenever that happens, and we've already talked about that many times. Let's see, penalties for OWI convictions. This bill is fascinating. I did not even know. I kind of want to go back and watch it during committee meeting. But the minimum imprisonment for OWI, this bill provides that if a person has one prior OWI conviction, remember, it could be if you're high as well, the court shall order that person to be imprisoned for at least 10 days instead of 5. So if you are a habitual line stepper, if you already gotten one OWI, you'll probably get a pass. However, on the second one, dude, you're going to the booty house for at least 10 days. Or perform community service. And if a person has 2 prior OWI convictions, that court shall order that the person be in prison for at least 20 days or perform community service. It also provides that if a person does receive good time credit while serving a sentence imposed under the state statute, the statute does not increase the maximum sentence for the offense as provided, blah, 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 blah. I'm more interested in this one. The Federal Highway Administration funds. The bill provides that the state budget director shall review and determine before whether funding to the state will will not be reduced due to the removal of provisions concerning administration expenditure driving plan. We'll see. I'm going to go back and watch this committee meeting. It looks very fascinating. All right, moving on. Income tax credits. Nothing happened with that on Hunley. Oh, but also wasn't heard. So these are the ones that have not gotten called down for second reading yet. The influence campaign reports. I see Cadora has an amendment, probably dumb. Criminal vandalism. So we're renaming it. That's all. Right, so then we talked about housing matters. Oh, yeah. I did not get to watch all of this. I'm going to have to go back. There was a half an hour time that I did not get to watch the floor talk. And I'll have to go back because I'm sure this housing one, this probably got a lot of drama involved with it. The library budget. Who voted no for it? Oh. Oh, SB 119. before I go back. So that was the grooming bill. There was a whole bunch of drama that happened over the weekend that Liz Brown, which she did actually have a bill, an amendment that would basically gut this entire thing. The amendment was not called down. So that's good. So why do you think we didn't post it? Like, honestly, we were talking about posting it, but like, well, why don't we just wait until it's actually called down before we do anything? Indy reporter again. All right, moving on. Immigration matters. This was a huge one. Obviously, all the Democrats voted no against it, and the Hunley was. Hold on, I think I have the. Do I have the tape? I think I do. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I do. Hunley was talking crap about ICE, and Fady Kadora. Is it?
And let's, for a moment, sit with the reality that hate and fear and inhumanity is sweeping across our country on the heels of politically motivated occupations of United States cities by the very agency that this legislation demands we align ourselves with. And by doing so, we're not sending a message that we are dedicated to law and order. In fact, the message that we'll be sending with this bill is just the opposite. We've seen time and time again that the current armed militia that's acting on behalf of the United States government.
So she's saying that ICE is a armed militia.
Government is poorly trained.
And saying poorly trained. So she's calling she's calling ICE an armed militia and also poorly trained. And this woman wants to run for mayor. Not a good look. But then Fady, of course, goes even wackier.
For sure oppose the killing of U.S. citizens, execution style, on the streets of America, just to enforce a federal policy. I don't want that to happen on the hands of our local law enforcement.
Yeah, well, listen, there was a lot of talk that was happening with Senate Democrats tonight about local enforcement and why does Marion County always get picked on. I'm here to tell you why Marion County gets picked on. Because it's run by a bunch of dopes. Between the city council, between the mayor, between the prosecutor's office, between the courts. And then everybody keeps wondering, why do you keep picking on Marion County? If Indianapolis was not the state capital of Indiana, nobody would care. Everybody would say, hey, go be a shithole city. But you are the state capital. You are where everybody goes to make legislation, make bills, make policy. Do you see Republicans trying to change policy over in Gary? No. Fort Wayne? No. Evansville? No. They don't care. What they care about is the state capitol. If it wasn't run by a bunch of buffoons, they wouldn't really care. They would just let you eat yourself alive. All right, so then the doxing bill, that passed no problem. Regulation of firearms and shooting ranges. Who voted no against that? Probably all Democrats, right? Yes, Tucker. This was talked about. I don't think it's that big of a deal. We talked about it last week. Innkeeper's tax. Oh, I think Mike Young voted against it too. Yeah, there are some. This is so funny. Dude, what have I said so many times? That Democrats are the party of higher taxes, all right? But here is a classic example. I'm not saying Republicans aren't, but whenever there is a tax increase, Democrats are like, yeah, we'll take more money. Why not? And so, look, Liz Brown, Buchanan, Byrne, Gaskell, Johnson, Greg Walker, Mike Young all voted no to raise the innkeeper's tax for, I forgot the other city, but it was also like Carmel. It was Carmel, right? Hold on. New Haven and Hamilton County. Yeah, and then all the Democrats are like, yeah, more tax money? Okay. That's so funny. The foreign agent registration. Great speech by Chris Garton, by the way. Talking about, we shouldn't be having these people. Because they're talking about, like, hey, we got all these enemy countries right now. And we have lobbyists and people doing things by proxy. Shouldn't be happening. Then economic development tax credits. I'm not a fan of this bill, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people did. This increases the purview of edge credits, which has to do with like, what is it? It's through the IEDC. I think it's mostly through like economic development and workforce development. I have a feeling it's going to be abused. That's why. Because anytime you're willing to expand something, most of the time it's going to be abused. Township mergers was not called down. I'm sure it will be called down very soon because they'll have to have the other one from the House. All right, law enforcement and civilian oversight boards. This one was talked about the most. Obviously, nothing. The only Democrat that voted yes for it was Niastowski. Let me give you a little bit of background on this whole thing. Back in 2020, actually, hold on. Oh, there is a clip that I will be posting tomorrow morning from Greg Taylor saying that this lady was beat with a baton so much that she defecated and peed herself. And then the lady that she was with was shot with 17 non-lethal bullets, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to call them paintballs. And it's like, I feel like there's a lot of context missing for this. You think the IMPD was just like showed up with somebody and just like start beating the crap out of them? There's obviously Democrats love hyperbole and loves enhancing things that really weren't the issue. But the background of this was back in 2020. We all know what happened, and so there was a civilian oversight board for the General Orders Board, and this would create policy. It was an enforcement. So if they wanted something, it would be changed. The problem is all the city council are full of dopes, and they have appointed people for the civilian oversight generalist board that never show up, so they don't have quorum. So they can't really change anything, especially what happened last summer when we had that 30-day emergency, and the only people that could actually extend it was that board. Now, they all, to Rodney Pohl's credit, he said, like, that's an issue. That should not be happening. However, he thinks that there could be other ways around it. Well, here's an idea. What Greg Taylor was saying, he said, like, hey, you know what? I don't like this affecting local control. This now, instead of it being an enforcement board, it will be a advisory board. Hey, this is what we should be doing, and it's up to what the police chief to actually change policy. So that's what the whole crying about is. And watching this stuff live is beyond frustrating because I live here. I live in the left armpit of Indiana, and when I see like Greg Taylor getting mad that he didn't get mad that people weren't showing up for quorum. He was mad that they won't have as much power. Well, I tell you what, board, if you actually showed up for your actual board meeting, things wouldn't be this way. So you have nobody but to blame but yourselves. All right, so let's move on for tomorrow. I know, I'm getting wound up. It was like this Saturday show. All right, so tomorrow what's going on? A lot of meetings, 24 bills that will be heard. Senate and the House will be talky at 1:30. A lot of stuff to talk about. 1002. Let's see what else is on here. Execution methods. Oh, crap. Oh, my God. I'm sure this will be talked about for a while. Please, Andrew Ireland. I hope that he is the lead on this whole thing. Let's see what else is on here. Fertilizer, housing matters. Yeah, I can't wait for this bill to completely be a bunk. This bill blows. HB 1001. I hate this bill. I'll be making fun of all of you, by the way, if that vote yes on that bill. What else is out there for tomorrow? In a session for there's not much for second. It's mostly for thirds. Well, you know what? They got done pretty quick. They talked about a bunch of bills and they got done within like 5 hours. If they would have started earlier, they would have been fine. It was supposed to be at 1:30 and it didn't start till closer until 3 o'clock. So it being the later in the hour, that's your guys' fault. And more Johnny on the spot with it. All right, so let's talk about Snowpacalypse real quick. Oh, not doing. Yeah, in the next 7 minutes. I want to keep this thing at 40. Last year, we had a bunch of snow. And I was on my way to the city county meeting, if I remember right. And they ended up canceling the meeting last second. I think like in like the last hour or two before it was supposed to start. And I kind of figured they were going to because of how bad the roads were. I was about halfway through, and obviously nobody knew how to drive when it's snowing out, especially on the west side. So DPW, their director had quit to go work at another job, and I believe the CFO was in charge. There was the interim director, and man, massive flub, and he just got wrecked when they had the DPW or the Public Works Committee meeting and saying like, well, what happened? And then I liked how Josh Bain there is like, how would you rate yourself of how well you did? The guy was like, I'm not going to answer that question. I was like, oh man, I tell you what, buddy, under the Indy Reporter administration, you're going to be fired. Same thing with Todd Wilson. You're both going to be fired under my leadership. So what ended up happening is that they made this whole new snow plan, and then they gave an extra $4 million to DPW to and actually act on this snow plan. Well, obviously it snowed. We've known for a while we were going to have Snowpacalypse, and what happened? Nothing. It snowed and during the live update today at DPW, you had Hogset and Wilson and the UAW people and Kristen Jones. They were like, oh yeah, we've been prepping this since Friday. I'm like, wait, what? You've been prepping since Friday. I did not see a single plow truck out yesterday. And I went out there. No plow trucks. The roads were crap. Everybody was getting stuck on the roads. And then finally at 5 o'clock, it stopped snowing. Still didn't see any plow truck. So then they give an update of like, oh yeah, we were out there. We've been prepping since Friday. We're going to have I think they said they had 100 trucks. They deployed their basically their third-party contractor. They handle all the neighborhood streets. To their credit, I got home and my street was plowed. Impressed, okay? However, I'm not going to give you a pat on the back because Rockville Road was a damn mess. I mean, still, I drove around. I tried to get some dash cam footage. It was not that great. And all the intersections are just wrecked. People are getting stuck literally in the intersection because of the how bad of a job the plow trucks did. Go out there right now. I'll go out there. I I would, but I just don't feel like it. It's cold out. If it was brighter out, I would go get some dash cam footage right now. It's because it was dark out and you can't really see anything. Washington is wrecked. 10th Street isn't bad, but then I forgot that part of 10th Street is in Speedway, so Speedway was handling a lot of that. Up to Holt Road. I was actually driving down Holt. Was it Tibbs? No, I was driving down to Tibbs, back down to Rockville, and some guy tried speed. It was a green light. I'm at the light, and it's at red light. Guy tries going through the red light, like on T-wise, to go south on Tibbs, and he gets stuck. I was like, oh man, that would have been a perfect time to have my dash cam on right now. It would have been such a good laugh for everybody. And so all the roads are still crap. All the 2-lane roads are a 1-lane road. If you're going down Rockville anytime soon, good luck. I hope you have all-wheel drive because you're not going to make it, especially over on like Rockville and Mickley. It is terrible. I saw a guy get his front bumper ripped off trying to get outside of the gas station over on Lyndhurst and Rockville Road. Very amusing. So yeah, all the roads I'm sure are still wrecked. I thought about going downtown. Should I go downtown? I'm going to go downtown. Yeah, I'm going to go downtown after this. Yeah, exactly, Ducky, right? The intersection are crap right now. I might go downtown, actually. The footage might not be that great, but I at least want a live report. So we'll see what happens. Oh my God, there's 52 bills? Jeez. So, yeah, I mean, terrible job from Hogset, terrible job from Todd Wilson. It was really funny because the union guy was This is what I cannot stand about unions. I don't care how you feel about unions. They think they are like a god, like they are a godsend, and we should just lick their boots and cradle them and just be fed grapes and fine meats and jams and jellies constantly. The guy who's like the leader of it, he was like, we have guys out there working 12-hour shifts. They're away from their friends. They're away from their family. I'm like, yeah, that's how a job works. I don't know if you know this or not, maybe because you don't actually do any work, but when you are at a job, no matter what it is, you are away from your friends and your family. I give you money. You go perform a task. In return, you will not be seeing your friends and family because you will get money. What is going on here? That guy's going to be fired too. We can't have any more of this. All right. We gave DPW an extra $4 million to make sure this did not happen. And what happened? And what was the end result? The same thing that happened last year. And Kristen Jones can talk about how she was getting all these complimentary texts or phone calls about how good of a job DPW was doing. They are awful. That whole place needs to be cleaned out. I'm talking about from the top down. Todd Wilson, the union guy, anybody that is a part of leadership inside of DPW, they need to be fired. Every one of them everyone is not doing their job. There are people that could do a better job that run the snowplows. I'm not talking bad about the snowplow people. I'm talking about the leadership. I'm talking about the people that deploy the snowplows. I saw Scott Fadness over in Westfield, I think. He was out there actually plowing. I would do that if I was. And this is, by the way, this is what I said back in 23. City council members should be out there with a plow truck. Borrow their plow truck and start plowing roads. In fact, hold on real quick. I had this map that I had made back in last year when this happened. You're going to love this map. Where is it? I had pointed out, like, this is an easy fix. We have the cars. We have the trucks. We have the people. Yeah, there it is. Check this out, boys. Boys and girls, check this out, boys and girls. That we 70 plow trucks in Indianapolis. Each of them, this is for the 9 townships of Marion County. This is exactly how many you would need for each area. And when I'm talking about the trucks, I'm not talking about them all going to like Pac-Man or whatever. Each truck would have their own designated zone. That way, all you have to do is your zone. You don't have to worry about the same thing. So when you come back, you could do the other lane. And if we want to, by the way, this is just 70. They said they had over 100. And by the way, they also said they had 17 one-ton plow trucks for clearing out BRT, bus rapid transit, which, by the way, Indigo still got stuck, and cleaning out bike lanes. So they have designated trucks to clean off bike lanes, while the actual people that pay for all of that, I'm talking about the drivers, the cars, the actual car and truck drivers that have to pay for all of that because people that ride their bike do not have skin in the game. They don't put money into it like we do. They have their own designated trucks. This is how easy it is. Every truck has a zone, and each zone cleans up their area, and they just keep circling around and circling around. That's all they have to do. Deploy all of them at the same time. Like Guardians of the Galaxy over here. But, I mean, this is how easy it is. You don't have crapped up intersections. You don't have one lane roads from 2-lane roads. Now everybody is able to drive without getting stuck in the snow for the most part. I mean, you'll still have your clown driver, the paper plate people is what I call them. However, look how awesome it would be. Because you don't have to worry about Lawrence or Speedway, Beech Grove, or Southport. They're part of their own gig. So there we go. All right. That's all I got. I think that's all I got, right? Yeah. If not, then I'll just cover more tomorrow. With that being said, if you guys want a different rock song, message me, message Indie Reporter, and we'll get that on there for the intro. Otherwise, I'm just going to play my own stuff. I'm thinking like Chevelle. I think I'm going to play Chevelle tomorrow. Anyway, you guys have a good night.